Excuse me, are you Mrs. Chandler? Yeah, I have an appointment with you.
Oh,
I understand you want to talk to me about
Tim's
mum.
mum.
Right, my son.
Right, yes, sorry, you're a little bit...
If you recognise the potential drama of this parent meeting, then this programme can help you with some useful skills to handle it successfully.
So what can we do then to help
Okay,
the boy?
well, obviously we have put some procedures in place now.
Parents of children who have special educational needs are often the most anxious parents. So therefore, for a teacher, it is particularly important that they develop these communication skills to be able to work effectively and have a good relationship with parents of children with special educational needs.
Thank you so much for coming today.
We've come to a day where teachers learn positive communication skills. Conciliation strategies, useful to all staff who have contact with parents, are explained and demonstrated through a course run by Partnership with Parents, Kent LEA's support organisation for parents of children with special educational needs.
Really nice to see. The parents were telling us that they felt intimidated in school, that they felt they weren't being listened to, that they weren't being given the information that they needed about their own child. So it was decided that on this particular course we could teach what we loosely call conciliation skills, which includes body language, active listening, perceptual positioning, principled negotiation, handling objections, all these kind of skills, which they've already got, but we just wanted to make them aware of that and to build on them even more. Before I ask you to all sit down...
With the teachers out of their comfort zone, they're asked to draw and describe how they feel as the course starts.
Different schools and so on.
I certainly felt nervous.
Yeah.
But we're apprehensive to start with.
This is me when we arrived. I felt I was drowning in the middle of a puddle because I didn't know what was going on.
So I've put oh help, so I'm a bit nervous and not sure what's going to be happening.
We're feeling like this, but how do you think parents are feeling when they come out of their comfort zone as well? And maybe we don't always think about that because we're so engrossed in how we're feeling and how we want things to go.
The role plays we're about to see demonstrate how feelings on the part of both the parent and the member of staff can affect behaviour.
Well, I want you to sort it out. I'm not frustrated, I'm angry, I'm very angry. I was told that this was a good school for my son.
In this meeting at the moment, I'm feeling quite frustrated and disappointed. The parent is feeling as upset and as angry as she is with us.
The skills that I've learned today, which I will definitely take with me, is to respect other people's feelings and not just think about myself, how I feel in this situation, but to think of the whole picture and consider how other people feel.
Adopting an overview of the situation leads to the importance of providing the appropriate environment and atmosphere for a successful meeting.
I think that you shouldn't have a desk between you and
No, not at all. Everyone should be at the same level. No one should feel that there's a position of authority in the room, especially when discussing sensitive issues.
Two of the teachers experimented with different meeting scenarios. Comfortable chairs of equal level, blocking phone calls, and clutter-free surroundings are helpful things to consider, as well as providing tissues and drinking water. Back in the classroom, with 55% of communication being through body language, the teachers engaged with a few moves to master their technique on the meeting room floor.
OK, freeze, you two.
Susie and Angie took time out to practice.
Holidays, what about you?
When people agree on a subject, they tend to mirror one another. They lean in, make eye contact, and smile.
It's far too much activity. I like to relax reading books. Read books for hours on it.
I feel like I'm drawn to Sue now because we're definitely agreeing on the same subject.
My body wants to move in, to be open, to smile more, nod more.
When they disagree, the opposite happens. Their body positions no longer match. One pulls away from the other, and they cross their limbs.
Yeah, but you're saying this fug thing about football.
I feel comfortable like this because I don't really want to look at her while we're disagreeing. Although I am feeling that I'm leaning back because she's been quite aggressive, that I kind of want to remove myself from the situation. But I definitely don't want to be leaning in at all at this time.
I feel that I need to pull you in to actually listen to me. I feel like I'm approaching you, but you keep dismissing me. But I have to come forward for you to take on board what I'm actually saying.
Consciously using positive body language during a tricky disagreement can turn a situation around.
associated with it, and you're right, really, they could have. I wouldn't have felt comfortable like this, only that we've had to reach a compromise to be able to do this, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to sit this closely. It's too intense when you're having a disagreement to sit this closely together.
I felt much better because we actually kind of come to a compromise that we...
I couldn't really lean in and be aggressive.
No, I couldn't.
I wanted to, find an agreement, and, it was too intense to be moving our bodies
I
into...
felt like we were drawn to each other because we were actually
trying to agree. Because the body language was making us agree more.
I've had an issue with dealing with a parent whose son has behavioural issues. Going in, having her come in for meetings and using my body language. I was tense, she was tense, and the meeting was unsuccessful. However, if I had known to use body language, I could have disarmed her before she entered the classroom, and therefore the meeting probably would have been more successful.
With comfy chairs taken and bodies in positive communication mode, it was time to practice the next important skill, active listening.
I think it's really important to demonstrate that you value the parent's views. No one knows the child better than the parent. So I think it's really important that the teacher actually acknowledges, and one way of doing this is actually using active listening, that you've listened to what the parent is saying and actually you really do value their opinion.
I'm not coming in here to have a go or to be cross or angry. I just want to know that you are aware of his needs, that the school has passed on that information. Because obviously I want my son, I know that he is not the most well behaved, I know that he's not necessarily the brightest child in the world, but he had lots of support in the last school, and I want to make sure that he's got that same support.
So you want us to make sure that we know that your child is not necessarily well behaved and that he not maybe the brightest child in the class, but that he needs the support put in place, and you want to make sure that we are doing that because in the last...
So how does that feel for the parent now?
I found that really useful, that was really good. I could tell you were listening to what I was saying and you were empathising, but it was, at times I wanted to say something and you were still talking.
Okay, so I need to shorten what I'm going to say.
Yeah. But he's also trying to make friends with the children in the local area, and that's really difficult because obviously with different changes and things like that, he's a new kid on the block and they don't particularly want to know.
So you're worried about his friendships because of the move?
Yeah. That was a lot better in the sense that you weren't quite so long. There still were times where I wanted to interrupt, but it was a lot better, and I felt that I wasn't just having someone talk to me continually and just repeating everything and making me feel stupid, but you were actually summarising the key points. Yeah. So I knew you were paying attention.
Yeah, it's hard to know when to consolidate what someone has said without trying to cut them off. It's quite tricky to look for that pause in their conversation. I think it's interesting that looking at the parents in our school, they often find that the most successful teachers, the most intimidating, and I think that's because we tend to put down the professional shutter when we're meeting with them, whereas the skills of active listening basically would be that you engage on an emotional level with the parent as well and show them that you're human and you're adult to adult, not some scary professional that they may have issues with because of their own childhood experiences.
So what else can you do to help my boy?
Right, well, obviously, we are trying to do as much as we can. I've got a big enough workload and enough students in my class already.
It doesn't matter. It's my son. Well, obviously you're not doing enough. You know what? I'm going to go and take this a little bit further. I need to talk to your headmistress. I need to go and do a little bit more about this. I'm sorry.
So how can you avoid a dramatic meeting like this one?
Hello, Mrs. Stevens. How can I help?
Jill, the course facilitator, gave Sam some coaching.
3 times this past week or so I've been in here. Letters home and 3 phone calls. What is it with you and Bradley? What don't you like about him?
Well, it's not that we don't like him, Mrs. Stevens. It's just what exactly is it that you're...
I'm going to stop you already.
Yeah.
You need, I suggest, to say to her that you recognise how she's feeling, you see.
Right.
So you're sorry that you feel, that Mrs. Yvonne feels that you don't like Bradley. Could she explain a bit more as to why? Why does she think that you don't like him?
Right,
So you need to obviously recognise that with her first.
Right, well, thank you very much for coming in, Mrs. Stephens, and I'm really sorry that I can see you're obviously very upset about the whole situation, and I can understand that. But exactly what is it that you're actually upset about? Pinpoint for me exactly what you're upset about.
I'm in here again, aren't I? You've called me in again to school.
So, is it annoyed that are you annoyed that we've actually called you in, or is there anything else that's annoying you, or is it just the fact that we've had to ring you to get you?
I've left the other kids at my neighbour's.
I'm so sorry. You haven't actually acknowledged still that she feels you don't like Bradley, and I think that is the basis of this.
Right.
Her feeling is that you don't like her son, so she's annoyed that you've called her in, but she actually, I suspect, wants to know why you don't like Bradley, or her, this is her perception.
Okay.
So, you need to pick up from there. You need to say to her, I'm so sorry.
That we're all in this for the best for Bradley.
And why do you think I don't like him?
Right, okay. Then we're all in this to help Bradley. Bradley is the main person in this, and we all want to work together to help Bradley. So, are you annoyed that we've actually called you in, or do you think that we've got something against Bradley?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, I'm annoyed that I'm in, but what is the problem with Bradley?
Bradley's just been a bit disruptive in class. He's disrupting the other children. We have tried certain strategies to help Bradley. When he gets frustrated, we take him out of the situation, we calm him down with an LSA, he draws, or he...
No, none of that.
And I was wondering if there are any strategies that you use at home that we can work together, and it would be better for all of us, including Bradley. So if there's any information you can give us...
His social worker's given me one of them star charts. Have you got star charts?
Oh, fantastic. Does it work at home? Does he respond well to star charts?
Yeah, actually, he does. Yeah, he did the other day anyway.
Well, that's fantastic. The whole idea of this meeting is that you're comfortable, I'm comfortable, and we can work together for the best for Bradley.
That was really, really good. But your natural instinct there would have been...
Yes.
Prickle, wouldn't it? How dare you criticise? Whereas this way, you encouraged her, which you weren't expecting, because you were expecting that kind of, how dare you talk to me, I'm the teacher attitude. But she didn't. And you could see that she was genuinely understanding what she was saying to her and really cared about Bradley and was trying to sort it out. So you did. You responded to that. You came up with some strategies. You checked with Yvonne that was, okay for you.
Yeah.
And then you kept doing it. And
I was
actually, that time you did have to go round a couple of times.
From this course, the one thing that I've actually took away and thought, yes, okay, I could apply this, is to actually listen to the anger and then say to them, okay, well, what you're saying to me is this, that they're able to get past the anger and actually get on to what the problem actually is, rather than just venting lots of anger and going round in a circle.
Next time I feel I have an angry parent walking towards me, I will definitely greet them with a big smiley face, make sure that I am welcoming to them. I will then definitely encourage them to tell me exactly what's going on. I will summarise it back to them so that we're clear that we're all talking about the same thing. I will be questioning them so that I've got all the information that I need, and I'll be very careful not to use any negative vocabulary.